Florida, Texas, it is time. Florida, get your bricks. Texas, this is as hard as it's gonna get. The Houston Outlaws are about to face the Florida Mayhem, and this is the match of the day.
This is going to be incredibly close. You heard Johnny just call it on the watch point desk. Thinks that this is huge upset potential despite the Preds across the board. Being that Houston are going to walk away with a dub, Florida Mayhem are up and coming, Lemon, and they are going to be challenging Houston at every single facet of competition that is possible. And we saw, as the desk was highlighting, that there's a belief that maybe Iris needs to step up to a former glory. This is someone who was a finalist in Overwatch League, came all the way to the top with the Atlanta Reign, and then left in a duo with Pelican to populate the Houston roster. Speaking of which, let's have a quick look at what Houston are bringing to bear today, because when we look at Houston, we all have to identify that there is a damage player, Lemon, who's playing tank, and that's Dante, who's been picking up the Doomfist all the time.
And when you're talking about someone that has to step up for Houston, how about the modems, okay? Houston haven't won a match online. The fans are in disarray. The hopium is alive and well. I have never been an Iris doubter in my life. But Pelican, on the other hand, the Echo, the average Echo enjoyer, Houston innovating away from the Genji. Anything from pulling out the Bastion out Circuit Royale, playing their flex DPS on tank. Houston are not the only ones to innovate. Florida are their opponents today. From illegal maneuvers to pulling out on Hog, nothing is off the table for Florida.
Yeah, I'm wishing that pulling out the Hog was indeed an illegal maneuver, to be honest, Lemon, because, man, it makes me a sad boy, but here they are, the Florida Mayhem, and while someone may make me a very sad lad when it brings out the Roadhog, I am far more enthused about someone's Winston, which has been lights out thus far, and a real powerhouse for Florida Mayhem, I think. But as we saw over on the Watchpoint desk as well, we had our head-to-head Merit versus Hydron, a pair of rookies up against each other here, Lemon, coming from different sides of the globe. Hydron proved incredibly powerful over in North American contenders. His tenure with Redbird and with American Sunday was basically untouched in a string of victories. And Merit, they had a bit of a longer time in Contenders. I believe they were in Contenders China for a while before they joined Runaway over in Contenders Korea. And it means that Merit has been around, has played in a lot of high-pressure environments, and I think has dealt with a little bit more loss than Hydron has, who's had a very dominant run through their Tier 2 bracket. But now Merit is the only rookie on Houston Outlaws and may feel the need to prove himself. And whether he flops or whether he excels under that pressure is something that everyone needs to keep an eye on in this early season.
Rookie v rookie, noob v noob, but they are anything but gold players when it comes to the Soldiers and the Reapers that we've seen from Merit and from Hydron. Then there's the other DPS matchup of Pelican versus Checkmate. Now, when it comes to Florida, Checkmate's been playing mostly Genji. I would say one of the top Genjis right now. I don't see a lot of Florida believers on the desk. If I had to have the hottest of takes, apparently, I would say Florida have one of the cleanest dives when it comes to the league. Houston, Pelican, Echo, Enjoyer doesn't play too much of the Genji, but when it comes to the Genji versus Echo, Checkmate versus Pelican, I would say Echo maybe has the edge when it comes to that isolated vacuum, but we'll see how Checkmate reacts. Remember, everyone, we have a different map set when it comes to this week. Push will be 1st and 5th, so this has been already a tough adjustment for some of these teams.
And Houston Outlaws, as I remember, Lemon, they don't have a great record on push. I don't think they've won a single push map thus far. And Houston Outlaws, yeah, like we said, Pelican loves to play the Echo, has played the Bastion. Basically, Pelican's like, I will do anything to not have to play the Genji. And Florida Mayhem, they're rolling out with a Sombra, of all things. This is going to be great for trying to shut down Dante. Cancelling that power block midway through the channel will make sure that Dante's defensive positions as they enter these early fights are going to be severely limited.
You might be a Florida believer if you remember the full capture they did against the Vancouver Titans. and it was a stop. So Florida may look good against the Titans, but how will Outlaws change their stats when it comes to push? It's already a pick from both sides, 4 versus 4. Kind of a different approach from Florida, already having the Zarya. Usually that's paired with a Reaper these days when it comes to the meta. And even Checkmate sporting the Sombra for the first time. I'm interested to see how this is going to work. Now, the bot has not moved. So how can you really build the space in front of the bot to get this thing trucking? Houston, get a bit of progress.
Man, Lastro's getting super aggressive here. Checkmate not under half, so a focusing beam doesn't do enough damage. But Samajed low as well, Lemon. Needs to be babysat by Anamo until that support passive healing can come in. And that's a misnade as well. This gives Dante an opening to try and work with.
Don't get cocky.
For now, it works. Dante sees them over in the closet side. Bubbles expended from someone. They picked off Iris, and Merritt is down. Dante is in trouble. He might have claimed someone, and maybe there's some value there resetting that energy. Meteor Striker, 39 HP, doesn't even go back towards his team. I don't even think he's got much of a team left, and Hydron gets nanoed and finishes off the rest.
That was a really good, almost martyrdom tier nano there from Samajed, knowing that they were going to die, but seeing Hydron's position and realizing that there's no way that Dante could get the full stun by punching him into a wall from the current position, hands over the nano and allows Hydron to do huge amounts of damage. But also check out Checkmate's ult charge here towards the EMP. Even with Hydron getting the nano, Checkmate is still drawing even and is doing huge amounts of poke to build up towards that big ultimate.
Visor v Visor, Soundbearer versus Soundbearer. As the cards fall, really, who's getting ahead? Florida on the flank on the right side. Bubble from someone blocking most of that damage. EMP from Checkmate will put a huge chunk of damage into the Outlaws as Florida move forward, but they get punched out by Dante. And remember, this is still a lead for the Outlaws, 22 meters to 9, and with this fight win, that lead will get even stronger.
Pelican with a really strong counter dive there, knowing exactly where to put both the stickies and the focusing beam to get the maximum DPS that's available to it. And Florida Mayhem, while they have brought out this tricky Sombra, I think that Dante and Lastro have done a really good job of adjusting their micro playstyle to deal with it, by having Dante play a lot more mobile and not staying in as much on the Doomfist, and having Lastro almost hunt Checkmate to interrupt his hacks.
He got grabbed for someone hoping to get a little bit more energy, maybe not even needing it with all the bubbles online. The grab is thrown. Pelican duplicates to preserve his life, starts to back away. A bio from Iris is Hydron, and someone on the clapback from Houston is even stronger. The fans may be able to leave this match with a smile on their face. What a 3K from Pelican.
Oh, huge Zarya plays there from Pelican. You know what? Pelican wasn't even a trained Zarya during the GOATS era. Pelican was actually the brig player for O2 Blast, because you know who was playing the Zarya? It was Proper, who you guys have all seen pounding on San Francisco Shock. Now more distance for Houston Outlaws as Dante gets closer and closer towards that Meteor Strike. The get out of jail free card as it could be used, and they don't use it here to escape the ante? No way, Lemon. Oh, they didn't even get it. That's a big fumble.
It's kind of a fumble from Florida with 60 meters to 9. Now forward response about to be activated. Florida have negated the storm for now. And you're looking at a Visor, maybe from Hydron soon with the nano, but Merritt has his first. Keep it on this positioning. He's all the way on the right side. You see the X-ray. Merritt's actually going on a flank, but he's nowhere close to Iris, so he's off on his own. The tactical Visor on the flank from Merritt sets it up, but he's immediately dismantled. Lastro with the 2K. Now 3 versus 3. Meteor Strike. Dante, is he going to reposition? He's so great. He goes after Checkmate. He has 30 HP. Of course he's dead. And Florida back in the driver's seat.
I think for a lot of people, Houston Outlaws, Dante's aggression on the Doomfist was a bit of a complaint point, and maybe we're hoping that he'd be a little bit more reserved, maybe use that ultimate to go back to Iris and gain some healing, as well as deliver the last few points of ultimate charge for Iris desperately needed to have the power spike of the nano to try and turn that fight. But Dante thought differently, and now Iris is going to have to heal them up again, get that nano, and try and manufacture a play as Hydron is forced off the high ground.
Manufacture an L, but for now it's Hydron with the tactical Visor, not needing the nano. Dante, though, he loves a nano, just to live through. Now he's trying to be aggressive. He's been hacked from checkmate. That only lasts a second, so it's more about the burst damage that Dante has to be careful for, and it lasts for so long. Dante is gone, but so is Surmajed. No heals for the Florida Mayhem, and even through the EMP, through the fire and the flames, someone who is keeping this team alive, along with Hydron at the back, who's been well protected, and Florida win the fight. Let's see if they can close the gap.
It's interesting to try and contemplate the investment of the EMP there as well, Lemon, because it's a very different ultimate now. Doesn't have as long a hack. It will interrupt abilities that require channeling. But Florida Mayhem, for the big investment they had there of both of their big offensive tools, they haven't got much in the way of distance on the barricade. And sure, Merit is a little bit isolated, but Pelican's peel is perfect.
Well, Florida needs to carry some kind of momentum. Someone has used the ton of bubbles now. They try to hide in the closet, and Houston about to open this one up, and Pelican is ripping through the forces of Florida, and they can't run and they can't hide. Houston are back.
Is that a Rookie of the Year moment from Pelican? I think it might be. Huge echo plays, even if her time as a meta-defining hero might be temporarily suspended. Still, she's a specialist pick that has some real power. Might be able to out-rotate the Hydron here and actually get an early assassination as Animo waits to figure out when to use this ultimate.
Florida almost stealing the bot. Got Pelican duplicating Azari. Remember, that's a 300 HP version of it, and quickly removed. No Graviton online, but Florida getting a ton of kills. Hydra got aggressive, but it's a tactical visor from Merit that put a pretty decent dent into Florida. Checkmate has been 1 HP for a while, looking to connect with Surmajed, and bot back in control, back in the hands of Florida.
And now with only a minute left, Lemon, we're down to brass tacks. Both of these teams have to refocus on the objective rather than playing the long game, because at the moment at Florida Mayhem, they are behind when it comes to the push distance that they have. Dante can open up here with a supercharged fist for a multi-CC if they can grab any clumped up members of the Florida Mayhem. On the other side, someone with the Graviton Surge. That could be the real playmaking ultimate, especially if combined with the EMP. That's bad news, Lemon.
Dante missed the punch on the Surmajed. Someone throws the grab, and it's instantly delivering 2 kills to Florida Mayhem, 5 versus 3. And Dante can't run, and now Outlaws are just dying on the bot to buy time for reinforcements, to reestablish themselves on the high ground. Florida need to keep up this momentum, though, because there's only 17 seconds, and they're about down 40 meters.
All right, only just now will TS1, Timothy Smythe, the first touch this barricade and begin pushing it. It's slow work, Lemon, but it'll still come down to one fight. Checkmate in the back with an EMP in the pocket, and Hydron can try and follow this up. A beautiful sleep, though.
Is Checkmate gonna get killed? And yes, he does. Pelican delivers the sticky bomb, so you have a 5 versus 4 for Houston. Tactical visor almost ready for Merit, and he might not even need it. So clean. The execution has been completed. Florida are gone. EMP Nano, you're not even able to use it. Houston Outlaws will take back 1.
Well, the desk wanted Iris to step up on this Anna. And Lemon, I can't tell if Iris is on a stepladder or if they're just a 7'5" gaming warlord. That's a sleep that wins an entire push map by slaying the Sombra and making sure that this EMP never sees the light of day. Houston Outlaws, even when they appear to have been slightly counter-stratted by Florida Mayhem, remain strong in their convictions and remain strong on Colosseo, winning their first push map for the entire franchise. Can they do more than this, though? You'll find out after this break.
Please don't let me in.
Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time of my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. My gut eyes on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. All these people trying to box me in. I'm at my weather, it's on, yeah. Now they ask where I'm at. Making hits that line back. I'm MJ, I'm 2-3, man. I just need some time back. I'm zoned in like defense. My life gone, no recess. But I live my best one, so I got no regrets. So gone, I'm gone. Finally back in my home. I'm working like so much. They swear I had me a clone. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there at that tone. Ballin' can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now.
Oh, that hype video gets me going. H-Town more like Windtown after Colosseo went their way. But we're going to the great old west of Route 66 next to find out if Florida will continue to innovate.
I don't think we've really got a record for either of these teams on Route 66, Lemon, and Outlaws have called in the mystical porcine warlord to lead them in this battle. Piggy is in, Dante is out. And Piggy, thus far, we've seen mixed success. Piggy did indeed win their map against the Dallas Fuel, but Dallas didn't really turn up to that series as much as we would have liked. And at least for the crowd in Texas, sorry gamers, unless you happen to be an Outlaws fan, in which case, congratulations. Will we see something like a Sigma here on Route 66, or is Piggy being in the caves, Lemon, in the mountains of Nepal, with the mystics and the monks training up the Winston? Learning to dive as the I like how they're sliding in the backdrop from out of frame.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what team's Piggy on again?
It's like kind of half there, just like Piggy was kind of half there during the cams, but also kind of half there when it comes to appearances for the Houston Outlaws. It's been mostly Dante, who's their flex CPS. I think the only time where our theories of our Doomfist player is going to play the Doomfist tank, and Houston Outlaws were like, yeah, let's try it. Well, what's the worst that can happen? So then Dante happened, and Piggy has only been seen playing Sigma and Ryan out of like 2 or 3 maps, and he's only won 1 of them. So we'll see how this new substitution will help them. And does Houston have a Winston player? As you said, I was kind of wondering if Dante, or not Dante, well, I guess maybe Dante, if Doomfist falls out of the meta, what comes of the Houston Outlaws?
All right, they're in attacker spawn. I skipped a beat for a moment, but I figured that Piggy wasn't going to be playing Reinhardt here. This is a map where even London decide, you know what?
Even London?
We'll pass on the Ryan here, bro. We're going to go Winston. And surely this isn't the one where Houston Outlaws would play the Genji either. This is where loads of teams are getting huge value out of a Tracer. And checkmate on the Tracer is what I really wanted to see in this matchup, Lemon. But mostly against the Pelican Echo and Dante Doomfist. I think that they might have a little bit less efficacy on the Tracer going up against this more varied composition, including the ability to use Xayah bubbles to mitigate things like the pulse bombs. But over the course of this series, keep your eye on checkmate if Houston Outlaws go back to the old reliable Doomfist and Echo to see if checkmate can really double counter them.
Once Merritt got off the Widow, I was like, good man. You know, the 0% win rate on Widow for both teams was looking pretty sus. So now you bring out the Reaper. That's always going to be a good counter to Winston. But it lacks versatility. It's pretty close range. And Houston Outlaws going to play very clump. Now, the Zarya pairs well with this. You bubble the Reaper. It even follows the Reaper when he TPs in. But we'll see kind of how goofy, silly Merritt is feeling. He's already checking mini pack side, which is warded away checkmate. Hydron is all the way at the back playing next to Sir Majed. So who's going to be pulling the trigger first? Because if Houston Outlaws don't get checked, this payload's never going to stop.
Oh, someone needs to be very careful with their engagement here. No bubble anymore. So now you can see with this Animo, who's basically playing a second tank, a bruiser. If you're going to have Merritt playing a foe main tank with the bubbles, you need a second person to try and help someone out. It's Animo who picks up the gauntlet.
Iris is like, help me! Piggy gives the bubble at the most crucial time. Iris is still alive and was under big girls, maybe even got a mega pack too, so Florida was so close to killing Iris. Didn't happen though, and with that fight win, Houston Outlaws should be capping A.
Look at Piggy's ult charge. What has Lastra been doing as well? Lastro has one of the first ults in the lobby, is drawing even with a pulse bomb for the sound barrier. Lastro must be fragging when it comes to the hero damage, or got a super valuable amp it up when it came to the survival of Iris, as you pointed out before, Lemon. And Florida Mayhem, look at how much ult charge Animo has. They might not be prepared for an early Piggy grab if Piggy uses this kind of laissez-faire for momentum.
Pretty stoked to see checkmate on Tracer. I think the only time we saw him play Tracer was against the Titans and they smashed them, so that made him look really good. And Pelican has barely played any Genji, at least on broadcast, so this is gonna be new. Checkmate with the pulse. Piggy at half health. Bubbles expended. He really wants to track that. Both bubbles being used. Checkmate heads for the back line as someone and friends dive. And it's Hydron that comes alive with the Tac Visor thanks to the nano boost of Surma Shed. Finds Lastro hiding. Well, he's peeking. He's got the sound barrier. Houston Outlaws, they live and they re-engage. Merritt's TP to the high ground. He's gotten bubble and he's forced the primal out of someone. So someone's doing work right now.
I feel like there's some bad ult tracking going on here. Maybe assuming there'd be a sound barrier from Animo to counter that which came in from Lastro, but it isn't there in time to save someone from the grasps of the fundamental forces of the universe. Gravity always wins in the end, Lemon, and it's a heat death for the Florida Mayhem as still Houston Outlaws push on forward with access to both a Death Blossom and a Blade. This forces a Sophie's or Lucio's choice onto Animo, where they must decide which of these ults can be addressed with the sound barrier. It's risky to do it against the Death Blossom because you can die midway through the cast, but also against the Blade you can more easily boop it away without having to use the sound barrier.
Ooh, Merritt saw that, I almost said Pelican, but Checkmate was there by himself. Florida actually went to the bottom left door, and Piggy was able to gather some energy through choke stuffing, and Checkmate has bombed Lastro. Without him, do Houston stand a chance? Iris got slept temporarily. He's already getting pressured. A bio has been thrown from Surmajed as Iris and friends run, but they can't hide. Florida win a defensive fight.
Some sad shotgun moments there from Merritt. Past 5 meters, sometimes as Reaper, you might as well throw your shoes at them and it would do about as much damage. Checkmate just about getting out of there with their life, and Florida Mayhem finding all of the little nitty-gritty openings that they needed in order to exploit the holes in the Houston Outlaws composition that do begin to emerge when Piggy has started to use these bubbles. Good God.
Well, Merritt put a few holes into Automo, but traded out, focusing beam right above from Checkmate. Tactical visor from Hydron is slumped from Iris. 2 ultimates gone in the blink of an eye. Hydron is awake, but he is not well. Piggy also slept. Bubble will emerge, so will the blade from Pelican. Goes right after Hydron, but is countered by the sounder of Automo. Holy cow, you have ace after ace moment from both teams as the payload is meters away from point B. Houston Outlaws are on it, and Pelican heads for the spawn. Florida up in numbers as Lastro thinks this is winnable. Commits the sound barrier. Piggy is out of action for now. He has the grab, wants to hit the backline with it. He'll be on the flank. Surmagen and Animo know this. They rotate to the other side, but as Piggy took too long to get any value, well, the rest of the team is starting to die. Houston only have Lastro and Pelican left, and what an ultimate from Checkmate.
Checkmate there might have actually used the duplicate as well to try and cleanse the anti-nade using that invincibility frame to avoid incoming damage. Iris got such a huge nade, but unfortunately just Piggy is not enough to deal with the huge mass of mayhem that was there. Someone's shield as well, so hard to break for a solo character. That's one of the reasons why Winston is seeing so much use at the moment. That shield gets much more powerful when there's only 5 players on the field.
Piggy will get much more powerful, giving that bubble over to Merritt. It starts pressuring the back line, but hasn't really found the value yet as Iris and Pelican get slapped around by someone's primal rage, and Piggy's not going to bother with the grab. Merritt is coming back and does not want to meet someone in a dark alley, so 36 seconds, Outlaws on their last hope.
Piggy legit to Iris, Mum, come pick me up, I'm scared. There's a big gorilla, and he's very nasty, and that means that still this Graviton has been held onto. Maybe you solo grab here someone when you know that he really doesn't have that primal rage. Look at the sleep of a disengage, that's mad! Iris is on a mad one today, Lemon.
Someone gone, Merritt gone as well. 4v4, Surmagen is dead! Outlaws have a chance to win here, but Pelican's down 2, 3 versus 3. Houston, the supports on our left, have to carry Piggy. Get in the Piggy back! And Lastro is down. The pulse goes into Piggy. He is overwhelmed. He is out of bubbles and out of friends. Florida will be holding point B. Merritt might have to touch, but he can't get there in time.
It's by no means unwinnable, Lemon, but Houston Outlaws have a little bit of anti-clutch there. I think Piggy may have meandered in the back too long in that penultimate fight where they just about generated the Graviton Surge. We saw Animo expend the sound barrier to try and deal with a Nano Blade that Pelican brought out. And to be fair, Mayhem dealt with that ultimate incredibly well. But they weren't prepared for the second phase of that attack, which was going to be the Piggy Graviton, which never came. It's a really weird decision-making process from the Outlaws that got them stuck in the quicksand over on B.
I think just running a Reaper on point B Route 66 kind of takes so much setup. You know, you have to TP up, you receive the bubble, maybe you get a crumb of energy, just one crumb of energy, and then the Death Blossom...
A morsel of energy, my lord.
Merritt's only gotten value with the Reaper, maybe Death Blossoming Hydron, but then Checkmate flies above with the focusing beam and beams him down. So Merritt getting these one-to-ones isn't necessarily these huge winning windows for Windtown of the Outlaws. So I'm personally a Reaper hater, but I can be proven otherwise. Now Pelican's gonna say, don't worry, I got you on Reaper Boy.
Taking over those Reaper duties, because of course it's far too important to make sure that you continue to have a Soldier 76 presence here on the defense. Such a strong poke phase, and if you don't have the Soldier 76, often that means someone is going to be able to enter into battle with their shield and with full health. This is a very interesting position from Piggy though. Remember that Xayah doesn't have any mobility options as a tank, so if Piggy wants to leave, he's going to have to do it in advance.
Getting the impression Houston are trying to find a role for Pelican because he tried the Genji, wasn't making a huge impact. Now he's taking the Reaper away from Merritt. Now I wonder if this double hit scan, both close range and long range, could overwhelm Florida as Hydron is slept, but he's nice and safe behind the burning train cart. Thankfully, the fire isn't too large yet. The bio hits Hydron. They're chilling right now. Houston can kind of gather energy and play off that tempo that Piggy's going to provide. The dive starts from someone. He might zone off Merritt from the bridge. Took a second for him to drop down. That's because he was pumping someone full of damage. And look at the re-engage from Houston.
So the real key here, Lemon, is cooldown counting for the Florida Mayhem. They need to keep track of Piggy's bubbles, and when they're both gone, then you need to hit the ante on the immobile tank. Because if you do that while Piggy still has a bubble, he cleanses himself. Iris counter nades to give Piggy additional healing received, and Piggy can just stand tall against the damage of the Outlaws. So watch for those bubbles and the ante afterwards.
Yeah, I wonder if Piggy deserves a little bit more attention. They're kind of diving, or Florida are diving Merritt and Pelican a lot, but Piggy's the one protecting them. Once those two bubbles are gone, Zarya is a sitting duck. So we'll see how Florida are going to react. Now they've made some space. The nano given to Merritt, the bubble as well. The tactical visor leashes the sleep, but he's woken. It's someone tickling him in the back, and Merritt will punish the rest of the Florida Mayhem for that mistake, and Florida will reset.
And with a lack of trades here, Lemon, there isn't really an opening for Florida Mayhem to try and exploit. The nano's gone, someone's dives are going to be continuously weaker here. Hydron does have the tactical visor, but by itself, it's a pretty weak ultimate, Lemon, especially when Piggy can quite easily get in the way of that with some very strong bubbles. Speaking of Piggy, the Graviton almost ready to go, and Animo's not quite prepared to answer it just yet.
And this has been a long hold for the defense. Florida less than 2 minutes left. This Hydron tactical visor has to go big. The nano was used last fight. He's left out to dry. But Animo's speeding him around, keeping him healthy. Houston Outlaws are separated from each other, so someone's actually in the back line. And Florida climbed to the top right to help him out. Piggy chasing after them with the Graviton, sees Sir Majed. And Piggy is getting bionic grenaded. He cleanses it with the self-bubble. But as the cards fall, you have a 4 versus 4. Someone's making the space with the Primal Rage. They've secured the top right. And Houston Outlaws gotta hope that they find some cave to puncture out of, and the grab's gonna be the name of the game.
Yeah, but Piggy got to escape with energy, and that's gonna mean that this next phase of battle makes Piggy all the more dangerous as Xayah, who's coming in with a little bit of an advantage. Mayhem are down to only a minute, Lemon. And now Animo has to deal with the two big ultimates. Already Lastro tries to force one out.
Oh, Merritt came up from behind too. Florida also getting bionic grenaded. Checkmate is out. Hydron is still alive. Someone is in deep. He's smelling Christmas presents. But Merritt Merit! He's got the nano! He doesn't even need a tactical visor! He needs an elbow to the chest! Hydron is gone! The grab from Piggy has thrown the trade with Sir Majed, and you're left with someone and Checkmate getting back. It's a 2 versus 2, and Florida need this so badly.
It's hashtag all in for Houston Outlaws. Almost everything they had was thrown onto the table, and they called the bluff for Florida Mayhem. Checkmate sure is going to have a duplication here, but Piggy's returned on the Diva. Will the self-destruct be enough if Checkmate can even generate them? But it will at least give some cover over to someone's dives.
Piggy is on the Diva, thought he had to come back quickly, and he's given a ton of ult charge, and Checkmate copies it. Now the dive tank from Overwatch 1 starts pressuring the supports. Florida in overtime, though. They might have won this fight, but the war is not over. This has cost them a significant amount of time, and this is not even the hardest part of the map.
Yeah, that's point A done, Lemon. Now for the hard one, point B. This is all going to come down, though, to whether or not Florida Mayhem can get some real usage out of Hydron's ultimate here, the tactical visor. And the reason you need that is because Florida Mayhem need to go big on this first point. They need to get some advanced position on top of this high ground, because if they lose this first fight and that door behind the payload shuts, which it's about to, then coming back into this point B means you go through narrow chokes and you take so much damage. This is the fight that must be won.
Oh, great biotic grenade onto Animo and Sir Majed, but you're not running a dive, so guess what? You can't really follow up on that, turns out, but Houston Outlaws, they have the close range comp. Look what Pelican's setting up. He's near Mega. Merit is so far away. Merit can receive bubbles and just keep climbing into the back line, and someone might have to deal with that first, but Pelican chases around someone. Hydron with the tactical visor. Sir Majed is actually slept and can't heal the rest of the team right now as someone makes the space with the Primal Rage. Now Florida are exhausted of ultimates, and the second round might have to come up. But Houston Outlaws failed to make a dent into this attack, and Florida approaching the box of victory.
And with Pelican using the Death Blossom as well, Lemon, does Pelican swap to something a little bit faster, a little bit more assassination power? No. The faux main tank with the bubbles of Vazaya will once again ram into someone. And Checkmate here, if they have a good position, could find people moving through chokes for easy sticks with this pulse bomb.
Florida already set up in the top right. I'm loving this, but Piggy and Merit are kind of being ignored at bottom saloon. Checkmate has a pulse, throws it into the bubble. Piggy will say, oink, oink, thank you later. Florida on the high ground. Will Hydron be able to pick off Iris? He's already given the nano. Merit is clearly a bigger threat to Hydron. He distances himself. Piggy has used a bunch of bubbles now, climbs up to the stairs. Someone is low, and Houston aren't feeling too aggressive right now. They're setting up Merit for success. He unleashes the tactical visor, but the sound barrier of Animo keeps Florida kicking. But really, for how long? The sound barrier from Lastro is later, and it is better. Florida running out of steam. The wind is leaving their sails. Hydron has the visor, and if Merit kills him, that'll spell trouble for Florida.
But look at this shield here from someone, the Winston reigns supreme. Piggy gonna go for a little bit of a consolatory drink. Can anyone touch the cart right now, Lemon? It's a trade out, and it's gonna be Pelican who's staying over here on the cart as someone takes up so many.
Someone prioritized going after the supports instead of Merit, and it might pay off. Iris is dead. Merit's on his own. He's zapped away. Lastro is clipped out. What is this, the Creator Clash? Florida will tie the series 1-1.
That was some iteration there from the Florida Mayhem. Houston Outlaws decided to change up their approach, leaving the Doomfist behind for but a moment, even though it did proffer them their first win on a push map. But this is where often it is a Winston clash, and Houston Outlaws, Lemon, as much as it may be cruel to say it, they are paying at the moment for their lack of a classical main tank. We've seen big results come from the conflux of Reaper and Xayah, but in this case, they were simply outplayed by the Florida Mayhem. Houston Outlaws have some soul and some comp searching to do during our break.
tie series 1-1. How your pick'ems looking? Pick'ems are back and better than ever. Be sure to pick your picks every week during the Kickoff Clash qualifiers to win cash prizes like Overwatch League tokens. And this year you can even do it on the Overwatch League mobile app, so you can be in bed and stay in bed all day, like I wish I could be. But I'm casting a banger of a series with one of my besties, and this has been a really good series so far, I gotta say.
You know what, Lemma? The only drawback of Overwatch League pick'ems on mobile is that Zoe cannot set them on fire after she's made them.
True.
Unless you want a really expensive fire. But Florida Mayhem, they have struck back, Lemon. They have struck back in a big way on Route 66, making Houston Outlaws attempts to run the faux main tank Reaper alongside the Zarya little more than a puff of air, and it seems like someone's ability to simply stay on the roster and be a continuous presence on the Winston is so valuable, not just because the Winston is meta, Lemon, but it allows for the comm structure for Florida Mayhem to remain incredibly consistent across all of their games, and that means that iteration and improvement becomes much easier for them.
And someone, the Winston player, not just anyone, the someone, is leading in final blows when it comes to the entire lobby, and what that translates to me is he's really good at following up the kills that that Checkmate and Hydron are setting up for him. And I think someone has prioritized away from going after Dante or Piggy and going more towards the supports like Iris and Lastro, which has proven to be quite fruitful, as that's how the last map ended up. Killing Iris made a huge difference in the final fight for Point B, Route 66, but we're going somewhere completely different. The homeland of my co-caster, it's Kings Row.
Oh yes, going back home to the land of Lizzie. However,
coming home.
Another thing that I want to talk about someone, which I think that some of the content analysts in the community could really get some mileage out of, is that someone is incredibly selfless and patient with their usage of bubbles. And I think that someone is generating the capacity for Florida Mayhem to make bigger plays than they're entitled to by using their bubble in conjunction with things like a tactical visor that has no other real vigor increasing utility behind it, like a nano boost lemon. And someone is doing a really good job of both mitigating Houston Outlaws' potential counterplay, as well as generating some safety and space for their DPS in tandem. And I think that someone's going to be able to make a very good video out of that.
Dante being back in the lineup is great, especially for Kings Row. It's a very close-range point. The point B phase, very narrow streets, tons of options for flanks. Now we have some snipers showing their faces. Merit and Pelican looking for the first shot. Merit will stick to the Soldier, as Pelican will swap back to the Echo. Now Checkmate was able to keep Pelican in check, I would say, on the Tracer. Looked much better on Route 66. I think that was a great adjustment for Florida, as they have hotel control, and I say had in past tense. Dante blew that room open. Serbajet and Anima were hiding and were completely destroyed.
Excuse me, sir, do you do late checkout? No, we do instant checkout. Get out of here. The garbage is gone, mate. Florida Mayhem are absolutely trounced, evicted, and bounced from this point. Their attempts to find some safety in the hotel were met with 1-star Yelp reviews and some angry customers. As Houston Outlaws, they are setting an amazing time here already. 5 minutes and 40 as the payload gets into motion. At least this does mean that Florida Mayhem can try and control the archway here, which is a very potent choke point, but Pelican's starting to wrap around the back and could maybe find an assassination.
Someone dives towards the support, but look at that follow-up from Checkmate, the instant assassination onto Iris, as there is a counter dive from Houston Outlaws. Dante sleeping on the job, and look how quickly someone returns with Hydron and Checkmate. They're moving as a unit, and the way that Florida take the initiative is so wonderful to see, especially on the point. They look like they were setting up Sermajet in Hotel to throw a bio grenade, but weren't expecting the quick hello from Dante, so Florida are going to continue to spawn camp and get staggers, apparently.
And Checkmate may have been slept here. I believe that might have actually been a missed sleep on someone that hit Checkmate, but now look at this, the amount of cleave that comes through, and soon everyone might be stuck in a tiny area, Lemon, with a primal raging Winston, which is bad news bears for those of you who are new at Overwatch.
Yeah, Sermajet has to be careful just how helpful he wants to feel towards someone who is still touching the spawn room doors and killing them while they are nesting. Houston Outlaws, I mean, they got trades. By the way, they have closer respawns because of the spawn camp. So Florida have lost control of choke, getting a little bit greedy, but Houston have some space now.
Lemon, it's not about the fight win. It's about sending a message, and Florida Mayhem certainly did that. Some real lad behavior there from Florida Mayhem, going in, touching the spawn door, making sure that everyone knew of their chattery. Houston Outlaws now. They have a nano visor, and there's not a huge amount to really mitigate it at the moment. We're going to be looking at someone's selfless bubbles again to try and intercept Merit on their marauding warpath.
Merit's also on that top hallway. Checkmate wants to zone him off. The tactical visor hits the ground, and Hydron gets put on his back by Dante. That is really good checking from the Tracer player. Florida now falling one by one like dominoes, and Houston, with a great momentum push, are going to head towards point B.
They did counter beat against the visor, but I think that that's a very good fight overall for the Houston Outlaws. Quite cheap in terms of only having to invest the good positioning and the sound barrier. So now Houston Outlaws, they can set up Hydron on, set up Merit on the high ground to open this up with a nano visor. And Dante at the moment is already demanding so much attention.
Oh, the sleep hits! Look at the patience from Sermajet on that too. I'm a panicky type of Ana. I would have thrown that 3 years ago and missed, but this is why Sermajet's in the league and I'm not. But a great cap from Houston. They haven't been touched since the point that flopped. So 4.5 minutes, 4 ults, looking good.
Houston they may have got a little bit angry at being spawn capped. Oh, lovely dodge there on the pulse bomb. I'll go to the sky. I don't need any of this today. Someone should escape.
He's going back, and he gets punched, and he's stunned. Dante's getting booped off the back line. He goes towards the mini. He's not even going to bother. He's getting chased around. Pelican's dead, and Dante will succumb. And Florida get their first fight win in a while.
All right, so now they've been able to at least anchor up a little bit here, Lemon, and that means that Florida Mayhem can now adjust their positioning to deal with the high grounds first and force Houston Outlaws to invest movement, cooldowns, and time to force them off of these areas. 5 players on this catwalk is a supreme extremely rare thing to see, and 2 got knocked off by 1 punch from Dante.
Dante got the nano. I think even, no, just a bit of health. I thought it was the sound bearer. The green health confused me, but he's in the back line. He's confused himself. What a sleep again from Sir Majed, who's been putting him on the ground almost every single time. But now Houston missing Lastro and Dante. They don't look like they want to hang around. They actually have 3 on the left alleyway with Merit and Iris, seeing if they can get any trades, but Florida going to head back. Yeah, lack of personnel means that they have to cede away this ground and allow Houston Outlaws to get up to at least this first corner. But look at Checkmate, hiding on the right-hand side for the moment. Could start off some early assassination protocols, and we'll have a very good chance of taking out Pelican. Hydron, use the visor. It scared the bejesus out of all of Houston, who just left. So now you have someone landing the bubble and separating the heals from the Houston Outlaws. The Bionic Grenade 2 from Sir Majed hits Iris and Lastro, scares them even further back. Pelican might have gotten the trade on the Sir Majed, and that lack of resources from Florida might give Houston a window of opportunity to engage, and Dante will make the space, finishes off Checkmate, and Merit will clear main. And Houston continue on.
Well, Dante's got the flick aim on the Doomfist, man. Built different. Animo falls down as well. Houston Outlaws are starting to make some progress forward, even if their once impressive time bank has started to dwindle. 2 minutes remain, but plenty of resources to try and finish us. For Duplicate, most of all will be pertinent, Lemon.
Dante already dove into the back line, got the sound barrier. Pelican gets the duplicate on the Ana to get the bio grenade out. The sleep also misses. Merit's got the tactical visor. All the ultimates from Houston are being used. The nano boost could come on late. And with that pick onto someone, Florida don't have a take to make any space. But with that trade onto Merit, you're taking away some lethality from this attack. But they're still spawn camping. It's Checkmate and Animo contesting the cart. Now Checkmate has to get back. The bubble from someone may provide a safe space. And he'll have to primal to keep this contest going. A minute 34. Iris has given the nano to Dante. He puts pressure on the Sir Majed. He goes back to the spawn room doors. But that means no healing for Checkmate, who can't even get it anyway because of the bionic grenade from Iris. And this battle continues on as Florida are giving up hope. At this point, it's about shaving off seconds, and it comes down to a minute 19 for the Houston Outlaws.
Lemon, Houston just showed exactly why you want to pick an Echo against a team that's so known for the Winston. One of the real interesting interactions is that because Focusing Beam really gets its power spike in damage per second against targets that are under 50% of their max health, when a Winston pops a Primal Rage and tanks a lot of damage, you can start doing 200 or so DPS to that Winston solo if they're under 500 health, and it's an easy tracking target on that big monkey. So Pelican slew the Scientist with no mercy using that Focusing Beam, and someone went down a lot quicker than Florida Mayhem had accounted for, making their stall a little bit less viable. And now if we look at the macro game overall here for Houston Outlaws, they've got 19 extra seconds on top of their minute. This could be crucial. If Florida Mayhem cap in overtime, they're not getting a second chance.
Now, when Florida overextended on the point C defense, then Houston were able to not only win that fight, but farm about 3 ults, which helped them close in at the second part of point C. So it's just kind of getting overwhelmed at that point. Turns out when you have more ults than the other team, well, you win the fight. Minute 19, that's a respectable time bank. Florida on the dive. I think not having as much space to work with when it comes to all these narrow chokes, but someone is known to be just one of the better Winstons and a really smart player. But Pelican, I think, is having one of the better Echo games. I think was leading the lobby in damage or final blows, and you're seeing that translate in Houston's play. Now they're on the defense, and it's the same composition.
Same thing again, Lemon. Checkmate looking for the space. Houston Outlaws trying to avoid going into that area early. Look at Dante, so aggressive. That was a 3-person stun. And look. Wow.
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 I understand Florida wanting to go on the flank. They have flankers after all. I'm just surprised if they go to the top right, maybe thinking Pelican or Merit were going to be up there. But the sticky bombs, I mean, they also do AoE damage. The Focusing Beam is so punishing, especially in that narrow choke. So Florida will learn from this.
And in that tiny angle as well, the anti-grenade can get so many people. We saw 3 people stunned by Dante's single punch. It's an AoE now rather than a single target ability. If you can hit people. And Dante just going to hold down the hotel for now.
And they think maybe Florida prioritizing the top rights because they know Dante has hotel control, and Florida's like, let's just bully him out of this area. And they were kind of successful with it. Doesn't matter because Florida have closer respawns anyway. So now that they dealt with Dante, Houston don't want to be anywhere in sight. But Pelican exposes himself. Florida now staggering out the re-engage that Houston Outlaws could have worked with. But with Pelican down, maybe Merit's tactical visor could make an appearance before the final tick. Florida gonna dive him again, not even let them have the chance to think as Checkmate has the pulse, and he's probably not even gonna need it. Still throws it into library, zones out Merit, and I don't think anyone from Florida was even capping, so now the re-engage could be coming for Houston Outlaws, and so it has. The 3K from Merit. Dante leading the charge, going through Hotel. Florida dropped the ball.
Oh, Florida once again getting too aggressive, counting their chickens before they hatched them. And this is the same thing that happened when Florida Mayhem started spawn camping Houston Outlaws on second. And they accounted for that spawn camp like they had 2 tanks to juggle the aggro, and the thing is, they really don't. If someone starts to get low and has to exit, your squishy targets are right in the line of fire.
Florida risked so much trying to win another fight when they already had control of the point, and then they flopped and lost it all. Didn't even get the second tick. So Florida down to 1:36. All the ultimates coming out. Primal and a nano tactical visor. It's matched by Merit and shut down just as quickly. Hydron with the 4K, and Pelican will soar back to spawn.
Call that one a 5K, Lemon. The American Tornado spins up and gets those Houston Outlaws out of here. You can go all in, but I hope you got insurance against the weather, baby. Florida Mayhem now. They have to figure out how to do this. Under-resourced. Sound barrier versus sound barrier. Once again, a duel of the wits between the Lucios to see who will break first. And here I'd love to see Houston out. Hello, someone's chilling out over here. I've discovered a Brit.
Turns out that pink really stands out against that green wall.
Yeah.
Any other team, though, like, different story.
Great camouflage in a nightclub.
Sound barrier engaged from the Outlaws, countered by Automo, but it didn't save Servagen! But it's not over yet. Both Anas actually got traded out. Someone taking a lot of poke. Houston working way better together. And Pelican is finishing off a ton of kills. And Florida are sent back again.
And one of the things there is because Checkmate got, well, for want of a better word, checked there by Merit, it meant that Checkmate entering that fight did not have the ability to go aggressive and look for assassinations because they didn't have the recall cooldown anymore. It was used up early, and a huge amount of their blinks were also invested in that escape. Now Pelican can afford to make some early poking here because they are within the sightlines and the zone of influence of their Ana, and use that to build up towards yet another duplicate and nano in tandem.
We're wondering where Merit's going to set up. He's not on the middle alleyway, setting up attack visor, but a Bionade from Sermajet hit 2 or 3 from the Houston Outlaws, and the reaction was so quick and even deadlier. Florida pouncing, but they kind of forgot about Merit, who got a couple of trades, but Florida's still alive and well, and by that I mean there's only 2 people left.
I mean, forgetting about Merit and not expecting the melee soldier, one or the other. Merit has kind of become the tandem diver to Dante in some cases, where he'll just go into these tiny rooms where Dante is at their most powerful and make sure that they're essentially barrel stuffing with the heavy pulse rifle. Here, Dante can be very risky as he still has the meteor great shield.
You'd love that bubble to be popped, though, and there it goes. Great communication from the Houston Outlaws, but Dante got slept. It heads back, doesn't want to be too aggressive. Hydron versus Merit, though, in this next fight. They have tactical visor. Nano burst from Sermajet makes a big difference. Merit uses his, immediately shot down. Hydron charges up Dante, and he falls. Pelican hoses down the competition, only to join them in the Shadow Realm, and Florida will cap point B.
And yeah, it's Hydron in the kill feed with a nano visor, but someone's bubble really made that one so much more easy. Cutting off Merit and ensuring that the gunfight was in no way fair. It would have taken several clips of Merit's damage to break through that bubble by itself. And now Merit's done with these equal soldier duels. Instead, going over to the Reaper, which, yes, will be able to dive in using the teleport alongside the Doomfist, but is going to be quite vulnerable now.
Oh, the nano is given to Dante. Houston Outlaws with the engage. Pelican can be aggro. He has the duplicate. He goes after the Ana. He will biotic grenade someone, and 2 supports are beating someone down. Houston haven't been touched this fight, and now they're going and touching the spawn room doors themselves almost.
I don't know how Pelicans somehow missed a sleep dart on someone in that narrow corridor, but someone's basically as wide as, but we'll leave that one up to the judge and jury later. I don't want to be judging here. Lastro, another sound barrier. Animo ready to do the same. Someone has been so impressive thus far with these primal rages, but when you're going up against a Reaper, your priorities change and survival's more on your mind as you need to continue to be a stifling presence on the battlefield, so someone might use this more defensively than offensively.
Well, you know what happens with the Houston Outlaws. Can't deal with the Winston. Time to go Reaper. Merit is TPing into the back. Someone immediately realizes it, forces out the Wraith, and this is the window to engage if you're Florida. Someone dives in. He's aggro. He's got the Primal Rage. Sees his team getting bombarded with the sound bear. Re-engage from the Houston Outlaws, and no one is really dying. There's so many shields. Lastro is the first, and both teams being separated away from each other. Iris is still alive. A lot more healing for the Houston Outlaws, but Iris was getting pummeled by someone's Primal Rage. We're left with a 2 versus 2, and someone killed everyone.
The 3K Primal is literally a science diff. Unbelievable. Someone's so good with the Primal Rage. Houston Outlaws have made him incredibly upset. And there's no time for counseling, there's only time for retribution by violence, but now we're looking towards that edge that Houston Outlaws gained themselves by having 19 extra seconds. If this is capped in overtime, there's no second chance.
Nano Tactical Visor though from Hydron, and Pelican jumps into the back and got the immediate trade on the surface shed. Is it enough? Audible, I guess, falls off the map, but that is so bad for Florida. They have no supports. They need to keep up this momentum. There's 20 seconds remaining, and Houston Outlaws are coming back with double DPS ultimates. Merit can end this here, and Florida are not even going to risk it.
Oh, that's a Path to Dana moment right there. You hate to see it. Animo falling off the map at the worst possible time. So Marja has to come back now on the Moira. Yes, the orbs are going to fly, and they're going to be able to dodge away, but they simply don't have the utility. Hydron under threat here from Dante, and a charged up fist misses again. Dante, it's not the time to choke, bud!
Dante could finish off Hydron. Surmajet is dead. Limited heals for Florida. They only have Animo. The bubble is cutting off lines of sight from everyone, including Iris, who is still kicking. He's over on Mini-Pack's side. Houston Outlaws clumped together and beat down Florida and stop them from capping as Houston Outlaws will go to series point.
A return to all reliable Lemon. During our halftime, Houston were forced to ask, do we want to continue having these iterations upon what at least versus Dallas Fuel and to a degree against San Francisco Shock on Midtown worked. They decided to return to this classic 4 Kings row where you can see Dante was getting a lot of value, but overall I think that on this map Merit and Pelican really started to pay dividends, and Merit is the only rookie on this team is flourishing under the pressure.
Well, let's see if the pressure will mount to be too much for the Houston Outlaws. They are on series point though. Florida, the dive doesn't seem to be working out yet. Well, we got one more possible map coming up after this break.
We're going to take a look at the Outlaws starting roster to see just who the 5 are going to be. And there it is. Any surprises for you here, Vest, or as expected?
I mean, well, something to look at. Dante is on tank.
Wait,
Dante is on tank.
what? Wait a second.
How about you take a quick look at that one?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm just trying to say
Look closer.
No, I think
He's on
that's real.
tank. So, I mean, what I'm expecting here is Dante Doom.
Whoa, okay.
What?
It's degenerate as heck. That is absolute filth.
Yeah, that's some,
Dante?
That's some Overwatch 1 Doomfist tech there.
And you see him just how maneuverable Dante is. I mean, my goodness.
Dude, this was supposed to be removed when you became a tank. You're not supposed to be able to do that. It's illegal.
Says, watch me.
Yeah.
I will still, actually. I think I will.
Edison, put to sleep. Oh, the ball through Dante. Over and in. The Outlaws firing on all cylinders.
Tank, of course.
Okay.
Tank?
Is that
Tank? Tank?
I kind of like
mean,
Tank.
I mean, Dante's Doomfist looks phenomenal.
Dante's doing everything he can. I mean, his Doomfist has been on point today.
We actually saw another team put a DPS player on Doom, and we just copied it because we're like, oh, maybe Dante will be like really good at Doom.
And that is insane play from Dante.
Tank just too good, damn good in fact, as the Houston Outlaws are on series point. Florida trying to out-rotate them, but setting themselves up to be bombed down by Pelican.
Yeah, Dante in as well for that number 4. No more switcheroos for this tank line. Piggy staying on the bench for the moment as the Dante Doomfist seems to be doing the job at the moment, Lemon. And the Dante Doomfist is eliciting quite the response from Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, Florida, I mean, just looking back at Kings Row, when they tried to attack, or when they defended, they had Surmajed in Hotel along with someone, and then Dante completely blew that open, and then when Florida tried to attack, they went to the top right of the point where Pelican was sitting there with a nasty right click. And I'm thinking Florida are just trying to distance Surmajed and Animo away from Dante's grasp and seeing if they, while Dante is rotating towards them, if Florida have the window of opportunity to dive. But it's been kind of the battle of rotations. And I'm surprised to see if Florida just not be able to figure that out. But Houston are peaking to a whole other level. This could be the first match that they win online.
There could be a first online win, Lemon. You are giving the Houston fans dangerous amounts of hopium right now. I'm going to need you to scale on back. That's a pretty cursed thing to say. But like you said, Florida Mayhem, yeah, they are rotating their damage to try and either avoid Dante or make sure that he has to invest a huge amount of cooldowns in order to reach them and deal damage. And what I'd like to see from Mayhem actually is maybe a little bit more bait and switch with the DPS, where Hydron plays bait because they're playing the soldier who has for sprint for quick escapes to draw Dante into the zone of influence of Checkmate on the Tracer and Marjed on the Anna to deliver the sleeps, the antis, and potentially pulse bombs.
I'm seeing Surmajed hit those. He is sleeping Dante quite a bit. And then between the Merit versus Hydron, it's been kind of more of the look of which Ana is getting nano boost first, where Hydron at some moments has gotten the nano boost first, sometimes Merit will shine through because of that. So there's a lot of things that have to align right. But Lijiang Tower, you would think might not align right if we went to Control Center, but it is on Gardens. Florida have won Lijiang Tower. Houston Outlaws are 0-1 on this map.
Alright, I've got some exclusive access for you guys. We have the tape of the Ana moment at some point. Whatever forced Florida Mayhem to not... just not... to unlife. To no longer be on this mortal plane. So what happened here? Yes, the slow from Dante made Animo think that, you know what, I can make this. Here's the secret, chum. You can't make those.
That's an oopsie. Florida starting off on Gardens. Middle map control. Dante just going to punch past and protect Merit with the Reaper. They're going to be deadly close range, and Florida has to be careful on that approach. Dante trying to punch them away from Dojo. Dante has invited grenaded, and the anti-heal has overwhelmed them. A 5 versus 4 now for Florida. They've even slept Merit, and look at the cohesion. They knew exactly when to attack before the Wraith could come out, and Florida are claiming kill after kill and the point afterwards.
An almost flawless fight there from the Florida Mayhem, and someone, of course, walking away with 2 final blows. He has been on fire. Even in a 2-to-1 scenario, someone has been so impressive during this game, Lemon. Dante there. Unfortunately, the early victim of the Ana utility. This needs to be baited out earlier before Dante makes a full-fledged engagement.
Merritt already been forced to use Wraith. He's going to go over into Dojo. Dante might disengage into there along with Pelican. Florida going to walk in to a lot of trouble, and someone gets blasted. But the trades come through with the flank maneuver from Checkmate and Hydron. Checkmate actually with 2 kills. We haven't seen the Sombra since Colosseo. And now this kind of more measured pace of play seems to be working out a lot better for this comp.
Yeah, being able to play from a defensive area, Lemon, is so much better for Sombra. Means that Checkmate can zugzwang any of Houston Outlaws who dare to come into their zone of influence, because you can hack from stealth and take away Dante's power block, meaning that he's going to be taking a lot more damage when he believes he's in a safe area.
Okay, Checkmate can scout. He's hacked Dante. Dante has been nanoed, and he's punching to the left side. Pelican's almost falling off the map, and I think he would have rathered that fate. Hydron's in the backline with a tactical visor, and it's killed 4! Florida look unstoppable.
It's a multi-kill day for Hydron. That's just how it be. Sometimes you wake up, Lemon, and you choose extreme violence. That's exactly what happens when you wake up in Florida. My condolences. Houston Outlaws. Oh, game early EMP'd!
The early EMP, I think, what, 40% of their total health is gone, and Florida engaged just as quick. We're privaling the spot doors. It is a red alert, a 911 moment. Florida are dismantling the competition, and it's 93%. You just have to think about touching.
Someone touches that spawn door every single time. That's just the way he be. Forcing out the duplicate early here from the... No way! Animo booped the duplicated Winston?
And gravity sucks, apparently. Sherman Shed is dead. Kind of a panicking moment, but there's only supports left from the Houston Outlaws, and they are finished off. What a flawless round 1 from Florida Mayhem.
All right, that's one way to turn around the nomenclature of the Ana moment. Pelican copying someone's Winston. I think they got slept in the air by Samajed, and in the free frame of damage you can do to someone who's sleeping before you wake them up with it, Animo booped them into the koi pond, and they turned Pelican into fish food, reversing the great circle of life. That's how powerful Florida Mayhem are. Your biological tendencies mean nothing to these Floridians. Let's have another look at it. Ana moment 2, baby.
The sleep into the pond.
Also, Animo got credit for booping Pelican away from the window, and Samaja got the overall frag. Great teamwork from the Florida Mayhem supports.
Overwatch 2, but we still don't have a patch where people can swim. I'm angry. But Florida's
Let's
way different.
Overwatchers swim.
Yeah,
Nautical missions when?
Zarya, but no Reaper this time. Hydron has been seen playing that, but they prefer the range, especially if they're going to play mid-map, and Dante playing the point, something I wish NYXL did in that last series.
That's uncalled for.
I don't have to be angry about it. Someone got beamed down, the bubble used. There is a delay between first and second bubble, if you were to be selfish in that case, in Florida. Do not want to stick around for too long.
Oh, Samaja there catching more strays than NYXL fans. You hate to see it. Houston Outlaws now from their defensive positions. This makes things much harder for Florida Mayhem. We talked about how Checkmate here as a Sombra may struggle with the tempo of Overwatch 2 because it's so much faster that Houston Outlaws can get on top of you, so you love to play from a defensive position as this Sombra. It does at least allow for some pings here from Checkmate, from stealth to stealthily just determine the positions of the Houston Outlaws.
Playing the point. Dante has used some cooldowns. Someone has shown his face and got stunned up a little bit, especially if you charge up with the E block from Doomfist. The stun lasts longer, does a lot more damage. Someone, he's just scaling. This is like the anime redemption arc. And someone is going to start pushing in. The Nano given over to their tank. Dante getting hosed down, microwave to death. And Florida stick together. Pelican, though, as they stick together, the AoE from the bombs claim 2. Florida out of DPS, not out of hope, as Houston have kept the point this entire time, but Florida kind of desperate to flip it, and Barry wants to keep it in their favor. He almost gets bounced off the map. Tactical visor, where? Mod check? Florida got capped again, and they have leftover ultimates after this fight.
Oh, you want to come in here and see something? Check out these guns, mate. Someone absolutely flexing on them, looking thick, tight, and solid in the chokes. The Graviton Surge is ready to go, Lemon. And what will be there to answer it? Dante, I don't think will be able to escape it with a Meteor Strike. Could potentially dodge it, and Lastro's 10% away from that sound barrier. A bubble onto Checkmate is a little bit sus. Why is there this random bubble in the middle of our team?
Checkmate definitely vented. And Pelican has been shot at by Surmaged, and he's gonna get punished. I mean, someone went back to point. Why was Surmaged in the middle of the map? I guess the rest of the team was. The grab is thrown. Houston Outlaws caught. Ana's exchanged. Dante not using the Meteor Strike to keep himself involved or even get to a safe cover as Florida will hold choke.
And the more fights that someone stays alive, the better for Florida Mayhem. That means you get that rollover energy again and again to keep being at higher DPS as the fights begin, and you can charge up your grab faster as you exploit the mortars in these chokes. Someone moving in early here, trying to follow up the EMP.
It only hits Iris and Pelican. Pelican duplicates the Zarya, and Iris is given the nano to Pelican, and while Dante was sleeping, and Hydron is just shooting through the main choke with his tactical visor, and Houston rotated right side. They gotta be careful of Animo trying to boot them off. Animo got stunned and killed by Dante as Hydron tries the best merit while he's in his healing pad. Easy W for Houston as they take back the point.
Oh, Hydron there had access to a hacked Mega as well. That's a Soldier 76 moment right there, and not a great one, to be honest. Checkmate is doing some pinging at the moment, revealing the locations of the Florida enemies, as Houston Outlaws now get ready to defend what could be the last fight of this stage of Lijiang.
Florida just pushing towards the point. Nano available. Hydron is the recipient. Someone is slept, and Mara just gets the walk for free into the back line. But a bubble saves Animo. You have a crumb of healing left, while Houston have just little crumbs remaining of their entire team. Only Lastro is left. 99% for Houston. Florida only have to win one more fight, so to Houston, to get this map.
Yeah, unfortunately for Lastro, it was Dai's small crumbs in this case. Dante with an early peek trying to build up that Mega Fist, but I don't think they've been fully charged. And remember, every time that power block is used, Dante can be hacked and it can be cancelled. Now it comes down to one final fight. Florida Mayhem are so close to a map 5, Lemon.
Checkmate has hacked Dante, brought him to 50 HP. Or 50% HP is Dante, and British back on the point. The fight has to take place here. Florida have lost Surmaged. Animo drops the sound barrier and hits his entire team. Houston are wiped away, and Florida, once they finish this, have forced a game 5.
Florida, what a clutch from Animo. We saw that Dante got rid of a main source of healing. Samajed sent back to Saudi Arabia by a punch that was powered by supernovas. Alas, Animo said, fine, I'll do it myself, and drops the sound barrier to save someone at the most clutch moment when they were down under 100 HP, followed up by the EMP. And Checkmate here has proven themselves to be quite the Sombra player.
It was incredible synergy between the EMP usage from Checkmate and everyone from Florida. Goomba stomping Houston Outlaws. And this didn't translate the same way in Colosseo, but we have a game 5 after this break. We're going to New Queen Street. We'll see you there. Game 5 about to happen in front of your eyes, and we're gonna settle this war between Houston and Florida on the streets of Canada, of all places.
Feels like it was forever ago, Lemon, but Johnny on the desk did say that this could go to 5 and that there was huge upset potential. Coming into this, Florida Mayhem may have been painted as underdogs, but I think there might be a little bit of franchise bias going on there. Florida Mayhem, as a team right now, are looking strong. And we know that Houston Outlaws, these guys are star-studded. Rookie of the Year from last year, they poached players away from our second place team at the Atlanta Reign. Whatever Houston Outlaws were proposing to Pelican and Iris, it was tempting enough to take them away from the massive success that had been shown before. But Florida Mayhem, they have made the right pickups. They've made some advanced scouting. Who thought someone was going to be the de facto Winston over someone like Kellen coming from Element Mystic? It was a very rare opinion, I imagine. But Florida Mayhem scouting seems to have brought them a powerhouse of a roster that is going toe-to-toe with some of the league's best, brightest, and most veteran players. This ends on New Queen Street, one way or the other.
And I can give you a hint onto my predictions for this map, because I'm a science gal, okay? I got the degree in there, look what happened to me. But science
Any master's
proves,
degrees?
Yes. Houston are 0-2 when it comes to New Queen Street. And Florida are 1-0. If you remember a funny little match that happened between Houston and the Shock full capped against them, the Houston Outlaws. And when Houston went up against Toronto, they also lost that 76 meters to 38. Pretty convincing as well. So we'll see if the 1-0 advantage that Florida had. Let's see, who did they go up against on New Queen Street? They won that against Paris, so take that as you will. So there's some stats to go here, but Push at the start of the series was won by the Houston Outlaws.
Of course, Paris, they're making their debut game this week in the last match of the week, I believe. That's going to be a bit of a banger later. Will be interesting, but I'm in the here and the now. Piggy remains out. Dante, the fist is charged and good to go. Florida Mayhem have decided that, hey, Dante's in. Checkmate's pretty poggers on the Sombra, so we're going to keep him there.
See for now. It's the battle for statue control. Dante is already there. Merritt's going to provide some support. Last stroke can bounce in between them to really measure the engage or even peel for the backline. Yes, Lucio can peel for the backline with that boot. You're seeing Pelican over on that tunnel on the high ground, which allows him to have access to the flanks if Florida get bot control. And now the statue battle continues. Florida just spraying down the lane. Merritt gets a little bit low, and you gotta be wary with these soldier right clicks. You can be bursted down so quickly as Dante shows his face at the window, immediately jumps out, trying to bait out some cooldowns. The biotic grenade from Sir Majet is thrown into the face of Merritt. Dante now less worried, sees if he can drag the sleep out of Sir Majet as well, as Hydron has claimed the first kill, a headshot onto Pelican, finding his way into the flank, and this opens up the fight for Florida, who engage afterwards.
I love the choice of positioning there from Florida Mayhem to go within that little shot, because it is so hard to dive with either a Winston or a Doomfist. The mechanics simply don't really allow for a great dive in that gap between the window and the stairs. Remember that Dante's shockwave from the seismic slam didn't afflict anyone, Lemon. However, Dante is on an academic arc right now, trying to learn how to play against the Sombra in tandem with the counter dive style that Florida Mayhem are bringing out early in New Queen Street.
Watch out for this one.
No, Pelican used to play a lot of Echo, even maybe seen on this map. Now we'll see the Tracer come to life, and Merritt just dies immediately using the visor, the hack ready. And that's what I love about the pick from the Sombra of Checkmate, is he gets to be in position while invisible, and Florida can all engage at once. There's no repositioning that needs to happen, and Pelican keeps getting staggered from the team, so this is a great push for Florida.
Did you see someone block that nade onto Sir Marja with the pixel perfect shield there? Unbelievable. Oh, this guy's good at Winston. I love a good Winston player, Lemon. And almost already Florida Mayhem are close to getting the checkpoint here.
Oh, Hydron got slept and immediately killed, but the soldiers are traded out. The nano from Iris, I think, even gone to him. The Sounder is used as a plan B. Dante is hacked, but he's not scared of Checkmate or anyone on the Florida, especially with the limited heals that Florida have left. And with this first fight win from Houston, they'll get some meterage going.
And this entire time, Timothy has also been moving, courtesy of Pelican, who's finally picked up the Tracer. Of course, this is one of the first times we've actually seen Pelican pick up a hero that a lot of us assumed was in their hero pool, and we have seen from time to time, but going up against Checkmate would be an interesting duel, which Checkmate simply isn't opting into, as instead the EMP is on call for the young DPS.
Oh, Checkmate tried to hack Pelican, who immediately blinks out. Just testing his reaction time. How awake you feeling? And someone gonna wake everyone up with the Primal Rage, especially on the cool side. He moves Iris off the map, and Iris needed to quickly reposition away from that Primal. He should have expected that coming. But Hydron, the counterattack from Houston, was even stronger. Now claiming 2 from Florida, as someone is still looking for Merit, who is clearly a threat, but it's Pelican who's chasing down the backline. And Animo can't peel for himself now, can he? And now someone's bubble is only helping himself, as Florida waiting for respawn.
Someone might be an amazing Winston, but a Hunbin sniper he ain't. Hit a right-click challenge for the moment. Houston Outlaws Lemon. They do have control of this area, but for the moment, their progress on the barricade is limited.
Oh, keep an eye on Merit too. He's close to Tactical Visor, and he's been positioning forward on the flank. Dante is hacked, and I like that he's no longer hesitating. I'm sure he doesn't have a ton of practice against Sombra players these days, so with the extra damage that Sombra does to a hacked target, it's kind of scary. The pulse whips, hits the bubble, and even splashes back onto Pelican. You can see the Tracer experience happening a little bit, but it's working a lot better for Houston these days, as the mobility helps Houston keep re-engaging, but now they can't run fast enough because they're down 2.
Dante, not many cooldowns left here, misses the punch. Up close against Hydron, Dante's actually had a habit of missing these punches. Maybe when the fist is charged and the transfer of momentum is different over to the punch, it simply isn't as practiced. And I don't think they were going to be winning that one anyway, but maybe Houston Outlaws have a better chance of winning this next fight, as Iris has access to the nano boost. He is going to be likely the checkpoint, but Pelican's actually putting themselves in danger to try and deny this.
Oh, Pelican recalled right into the Tactical Visor. Thought it was further back. Houston Outlaws are on the high ground too, so there's Dante engaging. Good disengage from Hydron too, who got the nano, helped a little bit with it. Oh, I thought he got the nano, but either way. Florida have lost their supports and have gotten a 56-meter lead, so Houston need to win another fight if they hope to close the gap.
The comms and Pink's Outlaws are so clean. Did you see Dante there with a 90-degree twist to kill Animo in the midst of his own team? Some great communication. However, the distance of the barricade is not great. TS1 begins to push that forward, and Florida Mayhem have to pick their moment for an engagement, as Checkmate has once again shown Dante. He almost dies here, Lemon, and now could even be EMP'd afterwards.
Oh, Checkmate just keeps hacking Dante on cooldown. It's a distraction, but also a weapon. Without Dante, and then you throw a Primal Rage on top, Houston are just trying to escape with what little they have left. And Pelican just contesting the cart, needs to run, and couldn't. Surmajet picks him off, and if Houston keep getting staggered like this is going to be an even better fight for Florida.
And they can't win 2 fights in a row, Lemon, which means that Florida just continue objective griefing, honestly. They allow oh, hello, EMP.
Wow, that hits Iris and Dante, who are just trying to play defensively. Merit fights back with a Tactical Visor, and someone has pressured the alleyway enough, but doesn't want to overextend. Now, Lobot's having an itch. Dante just showing himself. Pelican helping going forward. Pulse Bomb, don't hit the shield this time. Someone is getting pummeled and finished off, and without that tank, Florida don't want to stick around for much longer.
Couple players, though, may actually get forward spawns here. Samajid certainly isn't going to, as Merit and Pelican in tandem will get the late execution. And now, Houston Outlaws, they are desperate to start getting some push on this barricade. There's only a minute left, Lemon, and while neither team has really made it that far forward, 57 meters is enough. Houston Outlaws need to invest heavily in this next battle, and that's exactly why they invest for Pulse Bomb. Huge stick from Pelican.
And and Surmajet's like, I'm just gonna die with the rest of the team. Let's try and not get staggered. Someone just dying on the bot. And Houston, with this fight win, is so huge. They're getting closer and closer to maybe taking a lead or at least matching it. 42 seconds left, but coming down to the last 1 or 2 fights, and Florida spawns are awfully close.
All right, Houston fans might be about to have a trauma memory of what happened against the Toronto Defiant, where the bot stopped here for so bloody long, Lemon. Hydron zones everyone back. Houston Outlaws reset this fight, and now the push bot is leaving. It's all going to come down to one battle. Florida Mayhem currently have the advantage when it comes to the distance on the barricades, so if they can stay in control of the bot, it's going to be their series.
Nano for Dante. Lastra with the sound barrier. It's only a 1 meter difference, and Florida are in the lead. Houston gonna take it on. It's actually 0.1 meters away. A couple of seconds remaining, and Houston win the fight and will go forward. Overtime into effect. And Florida will be back in a second. We currently have a 50 set. There we go. He had to think about if Houston won the game 5, and it is now a sure bet Houston can win online.
This time, Timmy has ruled in favor of the Texans. Houston Outlaws gave it their all, and they gave it some welly. 3-2-2. Yes, we have been doubting whether or not the results could happen in an online environment, especially after the upset that Toronto Defiant levered up against them here. But this is also a signal from Florida Mayhem to the rest of the North American field that they are not a team to be trifled with or underestimated, Lemon. However, for Houston Outlaws fans, after what was an amazing start into a mediocre flounder, this has got to be a sigh of relief and a refilling of the Hopium Cup.
Genji out, but Echo enjoyers in. We have one player of the match that stood above the rest. It's Pelican from the Houston Outlaws. A lot of Zarya copies and had a ton of damage. I think it was leading in damage in the lobby. And I love the way that Florida was so worried about Dante, they would rotate around King's Row just to avoid Dante, but Pelican was always at the right place at the right time to just sticky bomb the entire team.
Yeah, Pelican's tries accuracy, especially on the Echo, was a real difference maker in these battles, and always knew exactly where to be putting that beam. And it feels like Houston Outlaws, like we highlighted the communications when we talked about Dante doing a 90-degree turn to take out Anima in the midst of a team fight. The same thing happens when Pelican needs to identify which targets are, for want of a better word, beamable. And that's a lot of hero damage done by Pelican, and you can think as well, Pelican's actually being like the auxiliary DPS in this roster, because Merritt's picking up for Soldier 76, who pumps out the most hero damage per 10 of almost all the characters that we've seen so far. Pelican, though, you gotta think, this guy was Rookie of the Year. Undisputed Maestro and Master of the Echo, and he's the second DPS. And, well, Lemon, Pelican's fragging.
That was, what a series. I mean, a game 5 to start off the day really couldn't get better than that. And it came down to a tie on New Queen Street. And then the robot had to think about who was winning at that point, and I had to double check too. The synergy from Houston is looking better and better every day as the season goes on. We got actually a couple more matches coming around the corner, and those are going to be bangers too. Coming up next, the San Francisco Shock go up against the New York Excelsior. UberX will be on the mic, and we'll be there watching with you.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I got Merritt from Houston Outlaws here with me for the post-match interview. Merritt, hello. 메리트 선수 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
All right, I mean, this match was very back and forth, but at the end, it was the Houston Outlaws that got the win. How were you guys able to pull off a win today against the Florida Mayhem? 자, 첫 번째 질문은 오늘 굉장히 경기가 접전이었던 것 같아요. 어떻게 보면은 한편은 좀 질 수도 있던 경기를 오늘 끝까지 잘해서 좋은 모습을 보여주셔서 휴스턴 팀이 오늘 승리를 거두시게 되셨는데 설명을 좀 해주세요. 어떻게 해서 오늘 경기 승리를 하시게 되셨나요?
일단 처음 시작은 되게 좋게 시작을 했는데 일단 중간에 좀 말리는 소통 관련된 부분이나 그런 것 때문에 좀 말렸던 것 같고 그런 거 이제 개선하면서 게임 플레이하면서 개선하면서 좋아져서 이길 수 있던 것 같아요.
Alright. I think the start of the match was going pretty well for us, but towards the middle in map 2 and map 3, we ran into some issues, mainly some communication errors that were going on internally. So we really wanted to try to flatten that out, try to fix it as quickly as possible. So we were able to resolve those communications issues one after another slowly, and I think that is how we got the win against the Florida Mayhem. And now, Merritt, I also want to ask you, because you're the only rookie player on this team, on the Houston Outlaws team. How has that transition been to the Houston Outlaws and the Overwatch League? And you got a lot of great players on the team. You also have Pelican, who was the Alarm Rookie of the Year last year. Did these veteran players sort of give you any tips or tricks, I guess? You could say. 두 번째 질문은 일단 이제 메리트 선수가 이제 휴스턴 팀의 이제 유일한 신인으로 제가 알고 있는데 그러면서 이제 오버워치 리그가 이번 해가 처음이기도 해서 좀 이때 좀 들어오는 과정이 좀 어땠는지 궁금해요. 좀 이제 뭐 긴장이 되셨는지 아니면 또 만약에 그렇다면은 팀에 있는 베테랑 선수들이 좀 어떻게 도움을 주셨나요?
일단 옵체 2로 바뀌면서 처음 리그로 와서 굉장히 새롭기도 했고 이제 팀원들이랑 스태프분들이 되게 잘해주셔가지고 적응을 빨리 할 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
Alright, I mean, I'm really glad to be joining the Overwatch League, and after it changed to Overwatch 2, so everything's really new to me. Not only that, all the staff from Houston Outlaws and all of the players were super nice to me. So I got settled in and got really comfortable really quick. All right, were there any tips and tricks that like Pelican or any of your friends told you about the league? 다시 한번 제가 하나 더 여쭤보고 싶은 게 이제 팀에 이제 같은 팀원들이 좀 오버워치 리그 경기에서 뭐 이렇게 해야 된다 뭐 이런 건 없었나요? 재밌는 거?
그런 건 딱히 없었던 것 같아요.
All right. Well, and Merritt says, no. Unfortunately, there weren't any tips and tricks, but they were just overall very super nice and kind. All right, Merritt, that's all the time we have for the interview. Thank you so much, and again, congratulations on the win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치겠고요. 시간 내주셔서 너무 감사드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Bye bye.
Congratulations to Merritt and of course the entire Houston Outlaws squad and all the happy fans and everyone who got their threats right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay.
Woo!
Hey, Johnny's here too, actually. Perfect. Now that we got that one through, as you predicted, Jonathan Reinforce Larson, the Mayhem did not go down without a fight. Right. It was very apparent that that squad did their homework. They were prepared for what the Houston Outlaws will be throwing their way, and on certain maps, it did look like they're almost out strategizing and outplaying the Houston Outlaws, and that's how they actually managed to play it that close at the very end. But Reinforce, what were some of the absolute highlights for you personally in this very first match?
I think the biggest highlight, honestly, was Checkmate playing the Sombra. Sombra is a hero we haven't seen too much of this season, but the Florida Mayhem, they came out confident and played Sombra off the bat. It's actually something I'm going to talk about going to the next series as well. So seeing Checkmate on this Sombra, just demonstrating how you can actually utilize this hero to go up against some of these Doomfist compositions. It was quite enlightening to see that being a viable strategy that Florida Mayhem pulled out. And of course it worked for them on Lijiang Tower. I honestly thought that Florida would win New Queen Street as well, because, I mean, again, that map, there's so many flanks, etc. You can play around the Doomfist, etc. But overall, I think it was a very competitive series back and forth. We saw Florida Mayhem at times. They were really strong. Someone on this Winston got plenty of frags here on King's Row, right? But Houston Outlaws, they didn't let go. We saw Pelican with some star performances. So a very entertaining back and forth. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Merritt's Soldier also was a big difference maker there. He pretty much like outrun Hydron on that Soldier, especially on the King's Row. And, as you said, it was a back and forth. That's exactly what we wanted. Every time I thought, like, okay, that team got it. No, they don't, because then the other team came back into it. And we could have asked for a better match to really kick things off today. And we have 2 more matches to come still, so still more opportunities for us to get our Preds wrong.
Not right.
Or right, I guess.
Stop it, Zoe.
You know, I'm a glasses
Shush.
empty kind of person. Not even half full. It's just straight up empty. Yeah, so I do want to start looking at ahead at this second match. That one will be fought out between the San Francisco Shock and the New York Excelsior. Now, Reinforce, you think that the San Francisco Shock might actually already be an elite team? Please run us through your thoughts. Why is
I mean, sure. I mean, there are some signs. There are anyway some signs that Shock, are already moving up there. And keep in mind, this is a pretty, this is a rookie squad, essentially. Brought in tons of rookies. They haven't had that much time to play with each other. But we've seen some signs, particularly in their match against the Houston Outlaws earlier this week. So, people asked for more X's and O's, more telestration, stuff like that. So, I put one together. I put one together to showcase what I liked about the San Francisco Shock, so we can jump straight into it. And by the way, if you guys see the YouTube player pop up, I took this straight out of the Overwatch League YouTube. So don't worry, it's me. This is my fault. So where are we? We're on Midtown. And I want to illustrate here that the Houston Outlaws, they're playing this Doomfist composition. And it is so effective here, and they want to engage within this green box here. This is where Doomfist excels, and you can see as well they're playing the Echo here, hiding behind this train. And this is where it's really effective, because you can't poke down the Echo, you can't poke the Doomfist. So the San Francisco Shock, the best option they have right now playing this composition is like a multi-pronged engage. The big flank for the Soldier and the Ana with the Nanovisor, and your Winston and Tracer engaging from a different angle. So this is really the best option they have here on Midtown. Again, it's a really good map for Doomfist with these close angles, and you can see there's very limited spacing here for the San Francisco Shock. So they're going to throw out the Nano and the Sound Barrier, and this is the best you got with this composition, but it's not going to be enough. Kilo tries to hunt down Pelican and the Echo, he's not going to find the pick, and Dante's Doomfist is just going to demonstrate how good this Doomfist composition